Hello, teacher. Today we are going to talk about microeconomy. My group is confirmed by Sebastián Zanabria, Sandor Joao Hernández, and me, Juan Diego Rodriguez. So, what is microeconomy? Microeconomy is the social science that studies the implication of individual human actions, specifically about how those decisions affect the utilization and distribution of scarce resources. Microeconomics show how and why different goods have different values, how individuals make more efficient or more product decisions, and how individuals best coordinate and cooperate with the one another. Generally speaking, microeconomy is considered a more complete, advanced, and settled science than macroeconomics. What is inflation? Inflation is the rate at which the general level of prices for goods and services is rising and consequently the purchasing power of currency is falling. Central banks attempt to limit inflation and avoid deflation in order to keep the economy running smoothly. The law of demand. The law of demand states that if a lot of factors remain equal, the higher the price of a good, the less people will demand that good. In other words, the higher the price, the lower quantity demanded. The law of supply. Like the law of demand, the law of supply demonstrates the quantities that will be sold at a certain price. But unlike the law of demand, the supply relationships show an upward slope. This means that the higher the price, the higher the quantity supplied. Producers supply more at a higher price because selling a higher quantity at a higher price increases revenue.
Equilibrium when the supply and demand are equal. In other words, when the supply function and the demand function intersect, the economy is said to be at equilibrium. What are factors of production? Factors of production are an economic term that describes the inputs that are used into the production of goods or service in order to make an economic profit. The factors of production include land, labor, and capital. These production factors are also known as management, machines, materials, labor, and knowledge as a new one. Shortage is a situation where the quantity available or supplied in a market falls short of the quantity demanded or required at a given time or price.
Consumer behavior is the behavior that people seek to acquire goods and services that will satisfy their needs and wants. Few basic assumptions. Consumers are constrained by their income limit. Therefore, they can afford to satisfy all of their needs. Consumer wants are broad. Consumers behave rationally and efficiently in maximizing their own satisfaction. There are two ways to analyze consumer behavior. First, marginal utility approach. Second, indifference curve approach. They both explain why changes in prices and income have predictable effects on consumer behavior. Utility. Utility is the benefit you get from consuming goods and services you buy. Total utility is the cumulative satisfaction that a consumer derives from the consumption of successive units of a good. Marginal utility is the increase in total utility that a consumer gains from an additional unit of a good, or it is the change in total utility for a one unit change in quantity consumed. Indifference curve approach. An indifference curve is a graph showing combination of two goods that give the consumer equal satisfaction and utility. Each point on an indifference curve indicates that consumer is indifferent between the two and all points give him the same utility.